As a start of a fruitful week, welcome to The Pulse. We are coming to you live from our studios in Kukumlemle on your digital terrestrial TV because we're free to air on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 144. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. This afternoon, police in the Ashanti regional capital Kumasi on manhunt for a man alleged to have murdered his pregnant wife at Nyanchere Nyase, close to Sofoline.
12 o'clock, and I'm just about to team. To a team, and say, oh, come you. And I was say, it's solid, and I'm solid. No, what do lighting until why you soon.
We are live on the ground for updates on this matter. Also this afternoon, JoyNews secures exclusive details of how two children were found dead in a vehicle at a mechanic workshop at Alajo here in Accra. We have details as parents of the two boys say they suspect foul play.
Currently, the police is asking us to come to the station and identify the bodies around 10 o'clock this morning. So there has been a good relationship between the family and then the police and the community as a whole.
This afternoon, we are focusing on real parenting and the critical role parents play in ensuring their kids are safe out there. How should children be treated? Plus, we'll be talking about the political tempo intensifying. Have we started the 2024 campaign yet? These are answers we'll be searching for on The Pulse. My name is Aisha Brian. The Pulse is brought to you by Global Communities, Digby Low, Affordable Safe Sanitation. Remember, we're streaming live on YouTube and all our social media handles. Tweet at us with the hashtag The Pulse. My personal handle is @Nana Aisha. Always a pleasure to host you.
What's up, guys? My name is Sammy Forson, host of the Weekend City Show and Ignition right here on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, anytime you happen to be busy and you miss out on your favorite shows right here on Joy FM, here's what you can do. Log on to myjoyonline.com/podcast. Just go on there and you'll find all your shows on demand 24/7. There you can catch up. Remember, Joy FM remains your radio for discerning listeners.
Let's start from the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, where the police are on a manhunt for a man alleged to have murdered his pregnant wife at Nyanchere Nyase, close to Sofoline. The suspect, only identified as Maxwell and in his early 40s, stabbed his wife multiple times in front of their 6-year-old son and has since fled the community. Lavafins Erastus Asaridonko visited the couple's home and has filed this report.
About 12.
Their 6-year-old son, and in fact the murder occurred in front of the 6-year-old son. Now, Friday at dawn is where eyewitnesses say they heard screams from their room, which is just behind me, the woman asking people for help because the husband was killing her. In fact, when they got there, the husband had already killed her and was rubbing his hands with a cloth to clean the blood, according to eyewitnesses.
Na Accra na pese opie ba abontene. Papa na se so antena se a mekun. Enti wo sa asem a maame e kan na say, "Oh, enti obi a mageme ne wo kumi na kire se wo hwe a wo mi a maame na mene." Enti na ne na ma abontene. Na Accra so de ntoma akuru ni tisan so papa se wona. Enti na ntoma ne kura akura enti de o tia na say, "Oh, enti obi a mageme ne wo kumi obi a
Colleague Erastus Asari Donko, who's been following this story, has joined us via Zoom for more. Erastus Asari Donko, you've been speaking with people living around this family and also family members of the murdered pregnant woman. What have you gathered with regards to the soundness of mind of this man in question?
Well, what I have learned from the community, he's very sane, very calm. He did not show any signs of abnormality or perhaps he has a mental problem or anything. The landlord is a very good friend of his, and she tells me that on a normal day, he will even be quoting Bible scriptures and be preaching the word of God to her. And so this whole thing has taken them by storm. And he was shocked that somebody as calm as he is was capable of doing something like that.
Now, prior to this action by this gentleman, was there any quarrel between them? Is this something that the family has been able to confirm to you?
Well, before Thursday last week, I'm told that the two were like lovebirds. In fact, the man will cook for the wife to eat. It was the man who even gave the woman money to start trading importing stuff from Togo, neighboring Togo, to sell in Kumasi. But somewhere Thursday is when he started accusing the deceased of infidelity, claiming that the woman goes to Togo and is having an affair with somebody, to the extent that he traced her all the way to Togo to check on the veracity or otherwise of this claim, but found nothing. He came back and started fighting with her. And so I'm told that she has a shop at Sofa Line, and that is where they started fighting on Thursday. The fight degenerated into something else, heated arguments on Friday. And when they came at dawn on Friday, that is where when he stabbed her. And if you look at the murder weapon, it tells you that he indeed planned this, because it's something they sell. It's similar to those that they sell by the roadside. A very sharpened knife, military grade, and they sell it by the roadside. He bought it, put it in the room, and that is what he used to kill the wife.
Now, let's talk about what the police has gathered. Have you had any information from the police as far as their investigations are concerned?
Well, the police tell me in the night they tried searching for him. So they combed everywhere within the community. In fact, I understand the following day they were back in the community. I learned he escaped through there is a stream behind the building, and so he went through that stream wearing only shorts. So they traced him along the bushes, and a search party was organized yesterday as well to comb the whole vicinity for him. Today, they are learning that he solicited funds from somebody to try to cross the border to neighboring country, Togo. And so they are relaying messages all across to every station along the borderline and all across Ghana to link up, share his pictures with the hope of arresting him.
Erastus Saridonko, I know we are told that the man committed this heinous crime in front of their child. Do you know what has happened to this child? How is the child faring?
I'm told by the landlady that he's visibly troubled. He's confused. He's a 6-year-old boy. And he tells them that the father asked him to sleep. He wanted, when they started and he was stabbing the mother in front of him, he wanted to get out. But he said that the father said if he gets up, he will kill him. And so he covered himself with cloth. And so when he came out, he was visibly troubled, according to the landlady. And he has since been handed over to one of the family members to take custody of for the moment. So we are trying to still get to the family to try to see him and look at the condition he's in.
Rasta Sasari Donko is my colleague in the Ashanti region monitoring this event for us and will surely bring you updates from police's investigations. But this afternoon also, parents of one of the two children who were found dead in a vehicle at a mechanic workshop at Alajo here in Accra are raising suspicions of possible murder. The two children, Frank Dramado, 3 years, and Farida Ai, 4 years, were both found foaming on their mouths with blood oozing out of their nostrils on Friday. Police at Nema have already begun investigations into the matter, but mother of one of the deceased says she has we have secured exclusive details of how the kids were found at the mechanic shop. Manuel Kranting of our security desk visited Alajo to speak to residents there.
Behind me is a 2003 model Mercedes-Benz vehicle in which the two children aged 3 years and 4 years were found lying dead on Friday night. Now, what we've learned is that a search party, of course, made up of residents within this particular Alajo enclave, was commissioned by the parents who, around 5:30 p.m. or so, became distraught because they were not finding the kids. And a search party eventually around 8 p.m. was able to find the kids in the vehicle. Both of them foaming, with one having blood, oozing out of his nostrils. We'll try and speak to a few of the residents here, indeed, who were here and were part of the search party that found the children. And indeed, what circumstances really led to that particular situation. This gentleman is one of the residents here. Grateful, sir, that you could speak to us here on JoyNews. Tell us, really, what happened?
Yeah, my name is Seaweed. I also live in Alajo Market here. In normal circumstances, around 3:30 to get into the 4. The kids are around here. We saw them, they were pushing ties. So we know they are around. But in normal circumstances, around by 4:15 there, they were not be found. So then we instantly go around, search everywhere, go house to house. We couldn't find them. So I advised them that automatically we need to go to there is a radio station here with the information center, so that we will report. So around 8:39, getting to 10 there, I say still we couldn't find them. Then what we need to do is we need to rush quickly to the police station and make a report. So if we are in the police station when we had a call that the two kids are in that car. So we thought, so what we said is we thank God that we find them. So we should rush quickly to us. When we came, they were inside. Even nobody touched the door. But what I saw is the boy, the little boy, the 3-year-old boy, the blood is coming from his mouth, and this saliva also is coming from. And the other one was vomiting also inside the car. So we rushed quickly and we called the parents that this is what we saw, so they should come. So we use torchlight and we watch it. So quickly we call Kotobabi police station and we call Nima. So unfortunately, they did not disappoint us. Within 5 minutes they are here. And they also come and they did whatever they did. And my worry is they put a boundary here. That's a boundary wall.
We'll talk about that one shortly. But I mean, when you found the kids, describe to us the circumstance. The vehicle, was it locked?
The vehicle was not locked, and the passenger side of the front side, the passenger side, the glass was rolling down. So that's the reason why we don't understand. If it should be it that kills these kids, then the glass should have not be down. But once the glass are down, air can pass inside. And without that, we don't understand. And even right now, as we are talking, even if you want to open the door, it's not a door that 3-year-old boy can open that door. It's a Benz, and it's an old Benz. You can't even open the door. So we don't understand how come. So that's why we make worried that we want you people to help us to know the gist of this story. If not so, we are not happy here, and we can never be happy.
I see. Tell me, now that this incident has happened, is it something that has been happening in the Alaju market? I see a lot of mechanic workshop, different mechanic workshops. And here, is it something that happens? Kids get trapped in some of the vehicles, and you know, some of these things happen.
No. Something like this never happened in this Alaju here before, because I've been here for so many years, and I never experienced this thing before. This is the first time this thing happened in Alaju. That's the reason why we don't understand it. Yeah, and we are very, very serious. I was included. I took them to the police station, from there to the police hospital, from there to the mortuary. And even I was the one who took the green card to them. And I'm very, very serious about what I'm talking about, because it's my little kid. The father of the kid is my niece. So I'm not happy at all.
I see. So now the place must look and feel dangerous, no?
Yeah, it's very, very dangerous, because into normal circumstances, there is a one-man gentleman here, which he lives here. Normally, he slept in the car. He also passed away about 2 weeks ago. So we don't understand the reason why the kids also die in the same car. That's the reason why I said I don't understand. And into the bottom of the end, I want you people to help me and help my family and help everybody.
You're just saying that somebody used to sleep in the vehicle.
The vehicle.
That person is dead now.
Dead now.
Did he die in the vehicle?
Nah. He's not feeling well. Okay. And he also passed away.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later?
Before this one also happened. I can say 3 weeks before this one also happened.
And so that's just one of the residents in the area who indeed was part of of course, the people, the search party that did the the search to get the vehicle. Now the vehicle is still marked as evidence, and it's still, we're having a cording. The place has been cording off. I see the tapes still hanging around there, but we'll just move a bit into this alley, because I see some more of the residents here, and then we'll speak to them and find out indeed what we're learning now, that the kids died in the vehicle that was being occupied by a gentleman who also passed away some 2 to 3 weeks ago. My boss, good morning. Now also Hanmona in Colano omo Wakano.
Namini habeti mi ba na mi beti ye.
Okay.
Me ba na amafo go abebre na omo se nkola bia wo ka nim na police ebe form ko ye. Eno pe na mi hu ya. Patron.
Wo ankasa wo mma.
Mi o baba ko.
What do you say?
Or 6 years.
In Colano mu say 3 years na 4 years. En bon hu say musumo won mba na we more corner we mbom hu.
Oh hu, because ye no man e wo ha. Omo no bi agro. Omo kure na mo ha. Nti me beti ye say omo se be forwards. Omo ma ahwe omo ye hu omo. Nti later no omo se na en kwala de omo hwe cars no bi ana omo ko di agro car ni. Nti omo ko hwe car ni na omo ku car ni.
And so he's just telling me that he came to actually meet a crowd of people really standing behind and beside the vehicle over there, and so this is an uncle of the boy. So we're just being told that this is an uncle of the deceased boy. Boss, good morning.
Good morning.
Accept my condolences. We are learning that you are an uncle to one of the deceased children.
Yeah, it's true.
How did this happen?
It was Thursday. Friday. Yeah. After then we were just searching for the kids. Normally they they play around. So as the thing happened, so we were searching for them, but we weren't seeing them. So we went to radio information center to report. So when we heard we around, and then we heard them talking, and then let's say it was like 8 that way, and then our mind came down. We should search inside the cars that over here. So when we open a car 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth one, and then we saw the kid inside. So we were even thinking that they were asleep. So when we saw that, we see that no, the kids are dead. So and then we called the police people, and then they came and then they took them to.
We're told that the kids were foaming, and one had blood oozing out.
It's true. That's what we don't understand.
What do you think might have happened to them?
Right now, I don't know. Right now, I'm disturbed. Right now, I can't even think far. I don't know.
So what's being the statement from the police? I mean, of course, we've heard that they say they're investigating, but since Friday, today's Monday, what's being the step that have been taken? Do you know? What's your call to them?
Right now, the investigator told us Saturday that he'll call us today, which is Monday. So we are just waiting for him to give us a call so that we can proceed on.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Bernard.
Okay. Bernard is one. In fact, we're told that he's an uncle to one of the deceased children who we were learning is called Frank Jamado, and indeed he is a 3-year-old, or was a 3-year-old boy who went missing a couple of hours on Friday evening and was found together with another 4-year-old girl dead in a 2003 model Mercedes-Benz vehicle. So that's indeed of course the details that we are learning indeed on this particular story.
We can now listen to mother of the deceased children, Edinam Ayivi.
Nchire obia eda no kura na kola na yela na yahwehwe no kura na sa da no omo pake cars ho cars ba ko kula accident car omo yi engine kura to form a na adwumayefo nyina atwa ho ahia car ne kura na kola na dem kura na adwumayefo no bi kura na omo twere car ne ho car ne kura me ko gina ho me friend sa se bia na wo hye baabi ti me friend se de be ye otemen car obeba be wiase ne sa aka na omo ye adwuma ho no de ben na akola ne hyem eye obi awanwa fi se akola ne se omo hyem a satam na omo hyem a omo ye nkola be mko hyem anka omo na omo gingira ho na omo ye ka ne ko ombe hu nkola no ayi wo mo even kran ko ombe hu wo mo nsa keke aka sa nkola bi na gu ka anim no je se eye nyina awanwa ekwanya nkola ne fa so mo ko gu ka anim na eye nyina awanwa if he says a hit in a chinkola na edenya ombe pre said no mudaka ni mununka man sa omumoja amumpobo munyina adane moja ne omusit na omoda so no emoja na ehuro etwa omunyina ehuro omano na media be man de ne hwemu emoja no eyeyi na wanwa ti ye de suspect say bia na ye obi na ye omusa akoma so ankasa menyina wo yakola bia me hwehwe ne daachi a wo ye obrimpon bi ma me pa fi se wo damakoma so pa bia nanka wo ye doctor ma me fi se wo hwe ne kura na o ye ni petitru bia wo ba fi se nadwe mu da ho wo sa nso ne ni ye nyina se pani bi sa.
Father of the deceased, who described the states in which the children were found, said he suspects poisoning. He wants police to hasten investigations. Well, this is not the first time this is happening. In April this year, 2 kids were found dead in a pastor's car in the Ashanti region. The police has cautioned parents to devote more time to caring for their children's safety. But what really can parents do to secure their children's safety? Let's broaden the conversation now and speak to Reverend Father Anthony Afriyamponsa, who is a counselor at the Career and Counseling Department at the University of Ghana. He joins us via Zoom. Reverend, I'm grateful for your time this afternoon.
You're welcome.
Is this really a hopeless situation considering our social structure?
I don't think so, even though it might look so. I don't think so, because if we act fast and on it well, I think things will turn around. It's just a matter of knowledge how to deal with kids like that I think is lacking, for which these unfortunate things are happening. Apart from, of course, crime and all other things being equal, I think we can do something about it.
Now, I want to find out what critical role do parents play in ending this whole situation or phenomenon?
Okay, so it's all about developmental knowledge about children. If I say developmental, I'm talking about early childhood and growing up to puberty. At every stage in life, children behave in a particular way. So, for instance, when the pain of developing teeth is eased, when they have teeth, they begin to put everything they see in their mouth. And they believe all adults, because even if you toss them up, they believe you will catch them. And so that is the first thing that parents should know, especially when they are under 5 years. They trust everyone, they put everything in their mouth. And so assuming, of course, we don't really know the whole issue behind, but assuming it was poisoning, it's likely that the children will put anything in their mouth and they'll believe any adult that walks around. That's the first theory that we should all know. And if parents know that, it helps. So just 2 things. That's the first one. The second one is, after 2 years, children are generally very, very destructive. They will want to walk around and explore their ability to walk and run around and want to destroy everything inside and play with everything. And so with these 2 in mind, what parents could do is to understand their children at every particular stage of their life, especially before 10 years. And so they should know that you train your children to trust and believe you and you alone, and those you can introduce them to, so that children will know that I don't eat anything around, I don't put anything in my mouth, and that itself will help. And again, you would also want to prevent them in a very gentle way. So you prevent them from roaming around, putting things in their mouth. Sometimes you would want to caution them gently, and it helps them to take such things very seriously. So children, because they trust mommy and daddy, they would really want to listen to you when you prevent them. The third is to also try to develop a routine for your children, which parents don't do. So you'll find children walking around, playing around, especially you'll find such in Accra so much. At the traffic interjections, you find children walking around, jumping to every car and begging and all that. And so if there's a routine, they know that when I come from school, I have to sit here and I'll eat my food and I'll go and sleep. And when it's 8 o'clock, children are able to pick routine. And so that will prevent such occurrence. So 1, it will make them not just want to put anything in their mouth, not to trust just anybody who gives them food. If you give me something, let me go and ask mommy before I do anything. And so these are the tips that I think parents could do and it might help, apart from, of course, creating security consciousness.
And I'm happy you talked about what parents should do, because you spoke about if parents have a routine for their kids, then they know what they're supposed to do at what point in time. We've had conversations about parents shifting their duties all to teachers. I'm talking about training of their wards and what have you. We've spoken about how children walk about, you know, every part of society, people thinking that they don't even have parents. And you also rightly mentioned we have children on the street. Let me ask you, are parents neglecting their duties?
I'll say yes, they are. But if you put it in context, I don't think any parent would say I'm neglecting my duty. You know, the upkeep of the children will still come down to financial issues. They would want to work and bring in the money to take care of these same children. So I think in the psyche of parents, they are not necessarily neglecting their children consciously, but indirectly, yes, they are, because you want to work extra hours just to bring up something to take care of the children. So in the context of this current one, I understand, I may be wrong, that the parents, I think they are doing some petty selling and trading and all that. So they would want to do everything they can to raise a little money to take care of the children. And so, yes and no, consciously and directly no, but indirectly yes, to a large extent.
Of course, the state also has a stake in this, and it has a role to play in this one. We've seen several of these cases, and the police are not bringing closure to those matters. What's the role of the police and, I mean, the larger picture, the state, in ending this situation?
Oh, I wish I could be soft on this, but let me be hard. Let the truth be truth. We have the Children Act, which is now an ally, and for the very, very introductory sentences of the law, to everything that would enhance that of children must be upheld. But see, we see all these children running around the streets, and no one is arresting them and calling on the parents to come for them so that they punish them or something. And so I feel it's all about the implementation of law. And I guess, Aisha, if you walk through town right now, you wouldn't have to walk for about 100 meters for you to see children around. And who is responsible for that? If the laws are really working, I guess parents will be up and doing. So I think the police could do, but do they even have the logistics to take all these children and search for them? I wonder if they do, but if they have, I think they can start from somewhere, and we all have to play a role. And on the larger social setting, I think we also encourage that, because personally, it was just about a few years now that I stopped, giving tips to such children, because I felt the more we give them, the more they come out. And so if society could, not in the name of wickedness, but in the name of their own safety, stop giving them monies on the street, maybe they will be pulled out of the streets and some of these things could go down.
I'm grateful for your time, Reverend Father Anthony Amponsa. He's a counselor with the Career and Counseling Department of the University of Ghana. We're still live on The Pulse, and founding director of the West Africa Center for Crop Improvement at the University of Ghana, Professor Eric Dankwa, is urging African governments to invest more in developing the country's seed systems if zero hunger can be achieved on the continent. As Ghana joins the rest of the world to mark World Food Day on Saturday, the UN has raised concerns the continent is home to about 25% of all hungry people in the world and called urgent action to feed the hungry. In a statement issued ahead of the African Plant Breeders Conference being organized by the Center, Professor Dankwa called for strategic partnerships and urgent action in the area of genetic innovation to develop resilient, nutritious and productive varieties of the staple crops of Africa. He joins us live with more. Professor Dankwa, I'm grateful for your time. First, what difference will strategic investments in the seed system make in ensuring food security in Africa, especially at a time that COVID-19 is negatively impacting food systems?
Thank you very much, and very good afternoon to your listeners. The problem we have is that we have not invested in innovative research to drive change to transform food systems that will increase productivity in farmers' fields so that farmers can, if you like, get enough and then take their products to the markets. One is that because the varieties that farmers currently use are not resilient. They don't have the inbuilt resilience against pests and diseases. So come drought, farmers can lose about 80% of their crop in the field. If we don't put funding into R&D so we can develop crop varieties that are resilient, we see that losses in fields will be too great that you cannot get to the markets. At the time that we need to urgently depend on Africa to feed itself, because we have COVID-19, which is not allowing us to access what we need to access from outside of Africa. So there could come a time that there will be no imports at all into your country. And so if you are not self-reliant, you find that you'll be hungry forever because no one will send food to you. Okay. You wouldn't get the food imports that you need so urgently for food and nutrition security.
Now, what's your expectation of governments, development partners? But even before that, what's your role in this?
Well, about 14 years ago, we established the West Africa Center for Crop Improvement at the University of Ghana. The West Africa Center for Crop Improvement is a flagship institution which, in the past 14 years, has trained 95 PhD students who are working in 14 countries in Africa, developing new crop varieties which will increase productivity in farmers' fields. That is a great achievement for a center like ours. Additionally, at the West Africa Center for Crop Improvement, we have released maize varieties which give, these are hybrid maize varieties which give us between 9 to 11 tons per hectare. Notice that farmers do not get even up to 2 tons per hectare in their fields. Productivity is very low, and come drought, they can lose all their crop. The new maize varieties that we have developed will increase productivity in farmers' fields. Of course, it's a game-changing product. We believe that productivity will increase, but the point is that you need to scale up because the seed that we develop do not get to the farmer. We need to work with the private sector, scale up, so we can get seed to farmers on time to plant so they can get a harvest that we expect.
And in all of these, there's a bit about investment. And so if you look at investment in this area, what role do partners like AGRA play in all of that?
Well, AGRA has been a founding partner of WACI. In fact, AGRA provided all the funds that led to the establishment of the West Africa Center for Crop Improvement. At the present time, AGRA has put funding into the development of early generation seed at the West Africa Center for Crop Improvement. So we are working in partnership with the Legacy Crop Improvement Center to develop foundation seed and certified seed so that we can get adequate, if you like, seed to farmers. I think that's very important and urgent. Again, AGRA is working with us in the training of building capacity for 19 countries in the sub-region. And so that is very important. AGRA's funds are allowing us to develop talented students and also develop new varieties which will hit farmers' fields. That has been the contribution of the Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa.
All right, so let's talk about the upcoming African Plant Breeders Association Conference. It's on the theme Accelerating Genetic Gains in Plant Breeding for Resilience and Transformative Food Systems and Economic Growth in Africa, right? What message are you seeking to put across with this theme, and how will these conversations actually impact food security?
Thank you very much. In the past, scientists have worked alone from their corners, and so there is no collaboration at all. 2 years ago at the University of Ghana, we came together to establish the African Plant Breeders Association. Today, we have a large following. We are one of the strongest organizations in the area of genetic innovation in Africa. And we are meeting in Kigali from October 25 to 30. What we seek to do is to combine our intellectual capacity to work together to drive change in the area of genetic innovation to develop resilient, nutritious, and productive crops for Africa. Important also is in the training of the next generation of scientists. You need to harness your capacity because a single institution alone does not have all the capacity it needs. And so when you combine capacities, you find that you develop a critical mass of individuals who can together work to train the next generation of scientists. That is one important area that we are looking at, mentoring of the next generation of scientists, working together to reduce. Of course, when you have people working in their own corner, everyone is doing their own thing, you have too much duplication and you do not use funds judiciously. What we want to do is to harness resources so that we remove repetitiveness in, if you like, research, so that together there is a concerted effort driving change, using funds well, and ensuring that we bring all the people together who can bring game-changing interventions on the ground. So more like harnessing human capital to drive change so that we can efficiently and effectively get to farmers and also get to markets.
I'm grateful for your time this afternoon. Professor Eric Dakwa is founding director, West Africa Center for Food Improvement, Crop Improvement at the University of Ghana. We're still live on The Pulse, and you can join via all our social media handles. You can tweet at us also with the hashtag The Pulse. And still to come on The Pulse, as two major political parties, NDC and MPP, battle over who has performed better. We pose the question, who has the 2024 campaign begun? We'll find answers after this break.
Hi, this is Lexus Bill, host of Drive Time on Joy 99.7 FM. Listen, you don't have to worry if you miss Drive Time or Personality Profile. It's going to be live on our podcast page. Just log on to www.myjoyonline.com/podcast. You can listen to Drive Time, Personality Profile, and any other of your favorite shows on Joy FM on that page. You don't have to miss a show at all. Joy 99.7 FM, radio for discerning listeners.
Welcome back to The Pulse. The National Cathedral Secretariat says it hopes to raise an additional $100 million endowment fund for the maintenance costs of the national monuments. The Secretariat hopes that the endowment fund allows them to cater for the future expenses of monuments without necessarily letting government incur the cost. Chief Executive Officer of the Secretariat, Dr. Paul Opoku-Mensah, has been speaking to JoyNews on the sidelines of an ongoing symposium organized by the Secretariat.
It's almost about $100 million maximum endowment. You see, endowments are going to be critical to the success of this project. We're trying to introduce a new way of running national monuments. That the national monuments, you have the resources to run on their own, to maintain themselves. Instead of every time looking out for others to give you grants to run your programs and then raising money to maintain. We really are introducing a new model. So beyond the cost, can we add about $100 million just to ensure that you have resources in perpetuity? So normally what you do for an endowment is that you invest it, and then you only use the interest. So if you're able to raise about $100 million, what it means that every year, based on your interest, you have. That's what most of the major institutions, the African American Museum, the Smithsonian, that's all how they survive. Don't really want to say we've built a national cathedral. We've seen so many projects being built. I mean, hospitals are built and there's no money to run them. We really want to insist that it's possible to do things differently, but you have to do it now. You see, you can't finish building and then go raise money. I mean, that's why we said, look, we have integrated this idea of an economic engine and an endowment. But $250 is for the building, and the 100 will be for the endowment that will allow us to run this in a very generative, progressive way.
The National Cathedral Secretariat has also been defending architects of the National Cathedral, David Ajay, who has been described as an LGBTQ+ rights advocate. In March 2021, a group calling itself the UK Black Pride besieged the presidency of Ghana to reach out to the LGBTQ+ community in Ghana, protect and support them. David Ajay was one of the many who signed the communique. Some Ghanaians lashed out at the Cathedral Secretariat for continuously working with the renowned architect. However, the Secretariat, chaired by Apostle Professor Pokuinyina, have been backing the passing of the anti-LGBTQ+ bill in the country. Chief Executive Officer of the Secretariat, Dr. Paulo Poku Mensah, again has been defending the continuous work with David Ajay.
I think he's more theologically sound than some of those who are criticizing him. First of all, I mean, David hasn't made any formal commitment, or what he was saying at the time really had nothing to do with support for LGBT. What he was saying that you can't just go down and start beating people in the country, and that we have to insist that much as we don't agree, it's not consonant with our cultures, it's also not acceptable for people to just go around beating people. That is unacceptable, and that's really what he was almost appending his signature to. It's not in support of LGBT, but we all must be against this idea that somehow, because we don't agree and it's not consonant with our cultures, we can just go around and start beating people up. That's unacceptable.
The Electoral Commission has been blamed for the chaos that characterized the election of the president's nominee for Cape Coast MCE, Ernest Arthur Sunday. Ernest Arthur had been rejected twice by the assembly members, but had one more chance to secure 2/3 of the total votes cast. Although Mr. Arthur polled 45 out of the 63 total votes cast together not, the voting process saw quite a bit of chaos. Richard Kwejo-Nyakun was there for JoyNews.
All those who were seated could see what was happening on the table. Then the Manhunt also joined us on the stage, and then MP for Cape Coast South, Mr. Rekitegan, also joined us. So we were doing what we call reconciliation counting, checking to make sure that the number of ballots in the box were the same as the number of people who were ticked or marked to vote yesterday. So after we had done the reconciliation, we started sorting out the ballots into yes, no, and then the rejected ballot. Then all the confusion started as to, we were actually focused on the ballot, so I can't pinpoint exactly who started it, but I could see some people belonging to the side of the NCE nominee confronting the Cape South MP about his presence there. So I can't actually I tell what exactly started the whole thing because we are so much focused. Some of the no ballots, most of them, I mean, I was holding that ballot. It was taken from me in my presence, those no ballots. We had done the reconciliation counting, and we had gotten 63 ballots, which was equal to the number of people who came to vote. Then we have sorted them into yes and no. There was no rejected ballot. Then we started counting. Then somebody came from behind me and snatched the no ballot. So I was left with only 4 of the no ballots in my hands. The rest were snatched away.
Cape Coast Metro Electoral Officer Richard Asenso has been responding to the accusations by the assembly members. He spoke with Israeli.
After being rejected twice and the president renominating him, it became a cocktail of issues. While one group felt that he should be allowed to go through, others felt they should reject him for the third time. The assembly members got summoned, and the event venue, the Center for National Culture, became the center of action. Voting got underway, and this time, the paramount chief of the Ogwa traditional area, Osabre Makwesiata, with his entourage was present to monitor the process. The security presence needed no mentioning, as they were on hand to deal with any unfortunate occurrence. The voting was over, and the sorting was underway. The MP for Cape Coast, George Kweku Rickett Hagan, walked up to the counting arena, and that was where the chaos erupted.
We are at the Center for National Culture here in Cape Coast. The elections to confirm the president nominee for the Cape Coast Metro Assembly is underway. The assembly members are done voting, but when it just got to the counting, we saw that the MP for Cape Coast South went to protect the ballot, and this erupted the confusion we are witnessing here. There is a struggle to protect the ballot here, and so you can see the paramount chief of the Ogwa traditional area is here, and other people. The security personnel are here in their numbers. They are trying to ensure that sanity prevails here.
In the midst of that, an unidentified person snatched some of the ballot papers and took to his heels. The chaos heightened. The EC nonetheless went ahead to count the ballot papers. Out of the 63, the EC declared 45 yes and 18 no. And the yes vote meant the president's nominee had been confirmed. This assembly member was highly disappointed.
The whole thing was cordial. We agreed to be here, and we are all here. The process is that we requested that we have an agent. The whole box, they started sorting out without any agent, which we found it unlawful. You see, afterwards, a whole lot of things happened. You see, and somebody snatched some of the ballot papers. We didn't even know the number. We didn't know what was going on. Everything was messed up. And we blame the EC for all this. We blame the EC for all this. I'm really disappointed.
Okay, so what we saw was that when it came to the sorting and then the counting, we saw the MP for Cape Coast South go up there. He was ostensibly going to do what?
Now, he personally requested from the PM that he needed to be present during the sorting and the counting. That is why you saw the MPs going up there. It was agreed that they need to be there. That is why you saw the Oman Hinitu. Oman Hinitu wanted to make sure that this election should be fair and reflect to the people of Cape Coast.
His counterpart called for the arrest of the person that snatched the ballot papers.
So we were curious. Why will he do that just after counting has ended? So we all went there to go and inquire.
Was it before counting or after counting?
That was before counting. When we went there to inquire, he said he is an agent. But as assembly members, we never met to appoint anybody to represent us as our agent. So he had no locus going near the ballot papers. Nothing of that sort. Are you getting me? So he started the whole confusion.
And that was a report put together by Kojo Nyakon, Central Region correspondent. Now, the last few weeks have been busy for the two main parties. President Akufo-Addo has been touring some regions, the Ashanti, Oti, and Volta regions on working visits, while his opposite number at the NDC, John Mahama, has also been touring some regions, thanking them for their votes and support in the 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections. The Central region has been particularly a battleground for them, with Mr. Mahama launching an attack on the NPP and questioning their record there.
Some of the 2 million penalty, Bibia Kata Omuniso. Make sure almost say, Montana Kunja so that you don't understand, you don't know how it is to sit on it. And now Montana so it is say, Indian government say, Yababuamo, no importi a sitre, Abraham Mewa Abemoni importi a sitre $200 and something million, almost $300 million worth of sugar every year. And I say, you bet me if Self action the end sorry and Kobibia. Ain't phase 1 of the project any factory no. And you see, buy almost sugar in your priority. Into $20-something million, the Indian government say apply for this for sugarcane raw material. No more apply. And so they left it. Into factory needs now. What can I say, Jimmy? My basic factory, I won't make provision for raw material. I'm not that foolish. Me economics, I was from. What I say? Into I knew what the vision was. The vision was get the factory first. NTCS started producing, I will have a processing plant.
Well, today President Akufo-Addo is in there and has been responding. So are these political parties effectively readying themselves for 2024? Why is this coming in so early in the day, considering 2024 is a long way out? This afternoon, we are analyzing the rationale behind this early start to campaign, especially at a time the two main parties don't yet have candidates. And joining us for this conversation is Dr. Kobi Mensah, a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School. He's also an expert in political communication. I'm grateful for your time, Dr. Kobi Mensah. There are growing concerns about the thank you tours, the visiting, the familiarization tours, and also the battle about who has performed better. Does this look like a 2024 campaign launch?
Right, thank you so much for having me. Certainly, we say that political parties these days engage in what we call the long campaign. Globally, we have observed that political parties don't these days wait until the election period for EC or any electoral body to declare that the campaign is on for them to start it. They have devised so many ways, of making sure that they can keep their presence in the minds of the people. And so, yes, the long campaign is here. We have seen it over and over again, and it's playing out, again. Don't forget, immediately after the national elections, political parties have their internal elections as well. They have their internal competition. So again, you want to be seen active. You want to be seen as the most compelling candidate, to take up the mantle again on the side of the opposition. Of course, on the side of the ruling, government or the ruling party, the current president has his legacy to protect, and so he has every right to respond to any allegations or any positions of the opposite number. And so you would find that whenever a statement is actually made by the opposition leader, it would not be left unattended. They will make sure that they attend to that particular statement, because it is believed that if you do not respond to that, that becomes the narrative. People take it over, and it becomes your image as well. So they will definitely respond to that.
So if it is it not too early, considering that this hasn't been the trend over the period? What could be triggering this early start?
I mean, remember that globally, the political system is changing. These days, we do not have only the traditional media, we have social media. People are constantly asking or demanding from political parties. People are actually checking, what it is that you're doing. If you're an opposition leader and you do not actually be seen active, your people are not going to have that confidence in you. You need to show momentum right from every time, right from the last election. You have to show that, the momentum is on your side. Don't forget, they have leadership battle to fight internally. And so you've got to actually put yourself forward in that sense. Of course, we can't say that that's exactly what, the opposition leader is thinking and is doing, but we can only, make inferences from their kind of activities and from the signals that they're actually putting across. And that's why we talk about the long campaign. Don't forget, yes, with the incumbent, the president, he's not on the ballot, but he has his presidency, the legacy to protect. And so if he does not actually attend to any commentaries by the former president or the leader of the, not currently the leader, but because they haven't actually fought the internal battle yet, but the last, presidential candidate of the NDC does not actually attend to those comments, then of course they will go on to fester. And so you'll find that his handlers would actually ensure that these comments are attended to in their view. So that's what we are observing.
Okay, so political analysts say you serve it hot. So once it's getting close to elections, people get the message and it's still fresh in their minds, and they go to the polls and vote for you, having that at the back of their mind. Starting from now till 2024 is quite a long time. I mean, how far or how less will this go to affect the fortunes of these political parties?
I will go along with, don't forget, these are the issues that actually shape the campaign messages. You know, and again, you're mirroring and looking at what the responses of the people are, which of the messages resonate, which of them is not resonating. And as a result, you're using that to actually shape your campaign come 2024. So they are part of the process. I mean, again, you're also checking your own acceptance or your own electability, in terms of how the people actually perceive you, whether you still have, that particular charisma, you still have the fire, the mojo that would actually let them, put you back into the office if you are opposition, party, or, remain you or maintain you in the office if you are incumbent party. So they are part of the processes, shaping up the discourse, shaping up the narrative, creating the images for yourself and for your opponent, going forward to 2024, yes.
I understand that this is a marketing strategy, and of course the political parties are marketing themselves, but of course also you should know that it's a give and take affair. So as the political parties market themselves to us, the customers, the electorates, how should we respond to these marketing strategies?
Yeah, we have to probe. I mean, they say a lot of things, but we have to probe them. We have to put the questions to them. What they are saying, is that the right ones? I mean, are they saying the right things? Are they actually being honest to us? Are they actually articulating what we think is the problem for us? And a lot of people will talk about unemployment. A lot of people will talk about corruption. A lot of people will talk about so many other policies. But don't forget, there are other things that is also, concern the society is concerned about, especially when it comes to our brothers and sisters who are, otherwise physically challenged. Are we actually hearing anything from their side? We've got to probe them, and we've got to actually put forward some tough questions to these political parties. Otherwise, they will create the message for us, and then would end up buying into it. Don't forget, they're also positioning themselves for funding. There are people in the system who actually fund political parties. They want to hear the right messages from the political parties. So for those who are not in a position to fund them, but we've got to actually give our votes for them to win the elections, are they saying what we think they should say? Or they're saying what they think they could actually do better and convince us to vote for them?
Haven't we gone beyond who has a beautiful message?
It's not beautiful as in terms of how the message looks, the optics of it, but whether it's persuadable, whether it sounds the right things, it actually touches our needs, for example, and whether these are the most important. Of course, we have so many other needs. Some of them are most important, others are back burner. But what political parties tend to do is to make sure that they're sending the ones that would actually get them elected, not necessarily the ones that are actually very important to the people. And so that's what the voters must actually look into that and question them on that. There are some tough questions, but they don't win elections because they're not popular. But of course, they are very important to the people. And that's why I'm thinking that the voters would have to probe the political parties, the candidates, to make sure that the right things are being said.
I'm grateful for your time. Dr. Kobe Mensah is a political communications analyst with the University of Ghana Business School, and he's also a senior lecturer there. Now, the Coastal Development Authority is set to roll out a package geared at creating employment and addressing transportation needs of Ghanaians, a drive project. With as little as 5,000 cedis, you could own a car by paying a total of 25,000 cedis spread over a period. My colleague Joseph Akable has been taking a look at one of these cars in our report.
It's the Coastal Development Authority's drive project, vehicles that can be accessed at a cost of 25,000 cedis. But the good news is that it comes with some agreements where you can make an initial deposit and then drive away one of these vehicles. And it's targeted at various individuals, including Okada riders. The aim really is to address transportation needs aside from creating employment. We are here to take a look at some of these vehicles, and they've agreed to take us on a short ride in one of the vehicles. Let's go for the ride. So that is the end of our short ride here, and so we can look at various parts of the car. This is the gear that you saw him using. Then it also has the accelerator and the brake and the clutch all over there down here. And so just like a normal car, just the only difference is the size. That is the difference.
Well, if you want to benefit from one of these cars, we are going to have a conversation on how you can do that. So I'm in the studio with Chief Executive of the Coastal Development Authority, Jerry Ahmed Shaib. Good to see you.
Good to see you, ma'am.
I want to apply for one of the cars.
Like I said, the target is not for very wealthy people like you.
Oh, I'm well to do.
Yeah,
I receive it.
Yes. You look it, so you should receive it. The benefit.
Who are the beneficiaries?
The target group is largely the Okada riders.
Okay.
We're also looking at commercial drivers and a group of people. We have what we call the Koda Credit Union.
Okay.
So you have some market women and men who are engaged in this kind of transactions, and that's how we want to support them.
Okay.
Yes.
How do you apply for this? And what's the the process of
Okay, so we have forms designed. It's actually the hire purchase agreement. Okay. So we have forms designed. We actually got the cars at 25,000 cedis. In fact, the cars themselves, we got them at 23,000. It covers insurance. It covers tracking systems. It also covers registration.
Okay.
And so when you pick them at 25,000 cedis. And then we have 2 years within which you're supposed to finish paying for whatever the car you picked. Okay. Now, this is how it works. It's very easy. And so what we have designed is 20 days in a month. Every day you pay 41 cedis. So your daily sales for 20 days is 41 cedis. Now, if you want to pay at the end of the month and not pay 41 cedis daily, you pay 833 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
So you can imagine there is no pressure on you. What you can do is to work hard, make sure you work within the period of 2 years, then it becomes your car.
Okay.
As we speak, insurance, everything is in the name of Coastal Development Authority, KODA. But when you are done dealing with all these things, the payment, then
it will be transferred in your name.
Very well.
So how do you intend to, how is the payment done? Do they have to come to your office and come and pay 41 cedis?
So we
every
have tracking systems. And the system is such that any day you work, there's an input to make.
Okay.
And then it reflects in the KODA account. That this is how much. So between you and me, we actually designed a system just like the Uber system.
Okay.
So you work and it reflects. And then you make the payment, it reflects.
Okay.
Within the period when you are done paying, it becomes yours. When you default in paying, we take it from you.
You take the car from me?
Yes.
How about the money that I've paid?
You worked within the period. You made a lot of money, trust me. Within
so
that
you
period.
don't get your money back.
No.
But is it for everyone in all 16 regions of Ghana?
No. So we are currently dealing with our remit, our jurisdiction, which is the Coastal Development Zone. So our zone is from Oti, Volta region, Greater Accra, Central, Western and Western North, these 6 regions.
Okay.
And fortunately for us, we also have service centers within these regions.
Okay.
And the people we got the vehicle from, we have some sort of arrangement, service arrangement that within certain periods, you can also go and do servicing of these vehicles.
Okay.
Yes, so that's what we are doing now.
Okay, so how do you intend to, you say you have a tracking system.
Yes.
What if somebody runs away with the car?
No, you can't go beyond the jurisdiction. The tracking system would show that you are going beyond a certain, and it truncates. The vehicle will not move.
Okay.
Yes.
But if the person, so which is the jurisdiction?
So you're supposed to operate within. You can't, for instance, operate in Sunyani.
Oh, okay.
For now, yes.
Okay, so you have to operate within
our jurisdiction.
OT,
yes.
The coastal
up to Western North.
Until you pay for
yeah, then
the
you can choose to operate in Togo. I mean, we are not even minded.
What if the person, gets missing within the circles?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. We have a whole system that monitors your movement.
Okay.
So wherever you go, if you go and hide this vehicle in somewhere in Choco, and you're thinking that we can go and track it and bring it up.
Oh, okay.
So we have car trackers. So that's what we've done. We have an app that tracks every movement of every vehicle.
Of the vehicle.
So if we cannot find a vehicle for, say, like the next 30 minutes or 1 hour, we are able to tell that the vehicle is in Chemwena or...
Okay.
Yes, so that's what it is.
So what's motivating this whole thing? Because for Coastal Development Authority, I'm thinking that I'm going to hear premixed fuel, subsidization of premixed fuel. What's
we actually are not dealing with premixed fuel. There is a whole National Premix Committee that deals with premix, and that is under Ministry of Fisheries.
Okay.
Our mandate is largely to reduce poverty within our zone. Okay. So we have what we call the IPEP, which is the Infrastructure for Poverty Eradication Program. Now, we are running projects that we think that it's time to get to the Ghanaian people, first of all, to provide them with necessary job opportunities.
Okay.
Second, to provide them with the necessary assistance with reference to economic support.
Okay.
And then third, to make us have a very accident-free system. We are not saying that you won't have accidents.
Okay.
I've acted as board chair for Kolibu.
Okay.
If you go to the head of emergency, Dr. Kwatin, and ask him of the number of fatal accidents that come out as a result of just motor, you would be surprised.
Okay.
Motorcycles. There is no day in Kolibu that you won't have a motor fatal accident recorded. So that was the first bit. The second bit was His Excellency the Vice President's directive. Now listen, Jerry, I think that you guys should move into this. Look at how you can help the people. Just don't be doing with outboard motors for fishers alone. Go beyond outboard motors. Let's also see how we can supply farmers with spraying guns and fertilizers and, get to commercial drivers and Okada people who are our main interest or target group.
Okay.
Let's relieve them of their Okada. So what we're actually doing is Okada for Koda.
Okay.
So if you're an Okada rider and you have a motorbike, the plan is to take the motorbike from you. You have a Ghana card, you bring your license, we take the motorbike from you, have it valued. If the cost of the vehicle, which is 25,000 cedis, we do the deductions of the valuation of on your motorbike, and then we give it out. So that's basically what we are doing. So Koda for Okada is really largely to help reduce accidents in the city centers and also to provide job opportunities to the people who are largely needy and also to support transportation largely in the hinterland. So when we take your motorbike, for instance, we don't go and just dump them. In recent times, you're also aware that there are a lot of robberies that are being carried out on motorbikes. So we believe that there are a lot of farmers out there who are also waiting to use some of these motorbikes just for transport systems. And these people form the credit union. They are part of the credit union. When we take a motorbike from you, what we do is to take it to, say, Pasa, where there are farmers who are working on some coconut or, some granite farms. We give these farmers the opportunity to own these motorbikes at extremely reduced prices. These motorbikes now become a form of transport or transportation for this farmer. And so this is basically what we are doing right now. Koda for Okada, Okada for Koda. Avoid accidents. Let's have it reduced at prices that they can afford. Any person who is largely minded to do business and is committed to doing business can easily acquire one of these and becomes a car owner. And you know what that means.
So this car can take how many people?
It can actually take 5 people, but the advice is to take 4 people.
So 2 people at the back?
2 in front, 2 at the back. The driver and the passenger in front, and then 2 other people at the back.
So how many vehicles do you have for a start?
Well, 200.
You have 200.
Yes.
For 200. And is this something you'll be doing?
Yes, we intend to run this quarterly. And our hope and prayer is that by next quarter, 2022, we are going to have another set of 200. But this is the trick. We are not just looking at this forever. We are actually veering towards owning electric cars in 2022. And we've plans and conversations and engagements are far advanced for us to look at that in 2022.
This is interesting.
That you'll see that Koda is the first to introduce electric cars.
So far, how many people have come forward
Is
Aqua
oversubscribed.
Oversubscribed. So if I want to join now, I can't.
I may have to give you my car. It's oversubscribed. So
well,
yes.
we wish you well in
Thank you.
this efforts to reduce unemployment.
Very well.
And we'll be monitoring because we are so much interested in...
I'm excited you are interested.
Definitely. So we'll be monitoring how this whole thing... We don't want to now hear that, okay, now if you want to acquire this car, you have to go and see somebody to
Trust
give you a
me,
protocol.
I'm one of the persons who can give you the assurance.
Okay.
I was appointed by His Excellency the President. So yes, largely I'm a politician.
Okay.
But you see, when it comes to food on the table and it comes to solving problems that will deal with satisfaction of the needy people and reducing poverty, there's nothing like politics. You know one trick? See, assuming you are CPP and you just get the opportunity to own one of these cars, you know what it means. That could be basis for you, which you would support me.
Okay.
And therefore
So
support my party.
it's open for
100%. No libby, no
lava. I'm grateful for your
Very
time.
much so. Thank you so much.
Jerry Shaib
Yes.
is Chief Executive Officer of the Coastal Development Authority, who is managing these vehicles for people living around the remits. We'll take a break on the Pulse. When we return, there is more. Do stay tuned in.
Hello, my name is Nathaniel Atto. You can catch up with all the fun and inspiration on the Joy Sports link here on Joy 99.7 FM, together with all other shows over and over again. It's very simple. All you need to do is go to myjoyonline.com/podcast and relive all of those fun moments over and over again. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Joy 99.7.
Welcome back to The Pulse. Now, residents and fishermen living along the coast of the Western region are calling on the Fisheries and Aquaculture Ministry, government and the Environmental Protection Agency to investigate the blooms of sargassum, also known as seaweed, which wreaks havoc on the shores every year since 2010. They say the investigation has become necessary considering the negative impact the seaweeds are having on their livelihood, tourism, fisheries, several shoreline activities and biodiversity. Correspondent Inathalia Kwanzaa has visited some communities along the coast and now reports.
They might not have any scientific proof or evidence to back their claims, but they believe that these weeds on the seashores along the coast might have a link to the oil industry. According to them, since Ghana discovered oil in commercial quantities some 14 years ago, the emergence of these weeds is becoming an annual ritual that they need to battle with every year, and for them, a thorough investigation to confirm or deny the assertion will help matters.
In fact, all along I've been attributing these seaweeds to the activities of the oil companies. But yesterday during the workshop, there was a heated argument that the oil companies were fighting their way out, that the seaweeds is not as a result of their activities. But when I was young, say from the age of 10 upwards, we were not seeing this at the beach. But when the oil companies started their activities somewhere around 2010, that we started seeing such weeds at the coast.
It is their operations that is bringing these weeds. We started seeing them when they started drilling the oil.
Vast floating mats have washed up and buried the beaches. The piles of seaweeds grew more than 4 feet high in Aketechi, Eziama, and Akwadai. forcing some people to abandon their homes. From Cape 3 Point to Eziama, Princess Town to Aketechi, Akwadei to Miamia, and all the communities along the coast, the brown seaweed has invaded the coastline basin this year. Once you arrive at any of these communities as a visitor, you are greeted with a decomposing stench of seaweeds, dead fishes, which will cause you to throw up.
We used to sweep here every week, but looking at it now, there is nothing we can do as a community.
We are about 8 people who voluntarily sweep the community and the beach. We don't go fishing, but when these fishermen are at home, it affects all of us. We are always sitting here with nothing to do. We will plead with EPA to conduct a research so we know whether this is as a result of the oil exploration or otherwise.
Fishing, the main occupation of the residents along the coast, is being seriously affected by the seaweeds on the beach and floating on the sea.
This weed is not helping us at all. It is so thick that even with an outboard motor, you cannot see through it. We are unable to let our nets down when we see fish. We are appealing to the authorities concerned to, as a matter of urgency, do something about the weeds, as it is seriously corrupting our businesses. We see this weeds every year, but this year's is just beyond comprehension.
Fisherman Isaac Egan, who owns a canoe, makes a feeble attempt to point at his stuck canoe on the sea. He looks disappointed that he could not make any catch after weeks of staying home.
I'm a canoe owner, and that is my canoe you see lying over there. It's been 2 weeks now, and we have not been able to go to fishing. What we had was nets full of the weeds.
Tourism, heavily battered by the coronavirus pandemic, could be further devastated if solutions are not found to keep the menace from our shores. Here at Aketechi, it hasn't only affected tourism at the shore, but the crocodile pond, which generates millions of cities. So what you see just here is a man trying to call on the gods here, trying his best to call on the crocodiles to come and appear. But just as you saw at the seashore, the same thing has happened here. Inside this fish pond, which used to generate a lot of money for the people of Aketechi, is the sea waste. The young man standing here has been doing this for the past 30 minutes, pouring snap, calling on the agors, calling on the crocodiles to appear. They tell me that before, it wouldn't take even up to 5 minutes for the crocodiles to appear. You can hear him still calling. He pours the snap on the gorge, but the crocodiles have refused to respond to his call. So the calling on government and officials to come and help find lasting solutions to end this perennial seaweeds which comes into the sea and to this tourist attraction, the Aketechi fish pond. I understand before they can take 300 Ghana cedis from anyone who comes to see the crocodiles. Reporting for Joy News, I am Inathalia Kwanza, Princess Aketechi.
What's up, guys? My name is Sammy Forson, host of the Weekend City Show and Ignition right here on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, anytime you happen to be busy and you miss out on your favorite shows right here on Joy FM, here's what you can do. Log on to myjoyonline.com/podcast. Just go on there and you'll find all your shows on demand 24/7. There you can catch up. Remember, Joy FM remains your radio for discerning listeners.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the sports segment here on Pulse. My name is Orek Wampofo, and we'll be looking at swimming today as host country Ghana won 2 medals at the just ended 14th Ghana African Junior and Senior Swimming Championships. Now, the 7-day event, which commenced on October 11th, ended on Sunday at the Bukom International Pool. Now, Ghanaian swimmer Abeku Jackson, and he was one of 18 participants to represent Ghana, won 2 medals. Now, the 2-time Olympian finished third in the men's 100-meter butterfly with a time of 53.98 seconds, and that's on day 2. And then he followed it up with a silver triumph on day 3 with a time of 24.18 seconds in the men's 50-meter butterfly event. South Africa topped the standings with 101 medals attained, and the breakdown is 50 gold medals, 33 silver medals, and then 18 bronze medals. Egypt came second with a total of 96 medals. Their breakdown is 26 gold medals, 42 silver, and then 28 bronze. But today, we're trying to find out, why did Ghana fail to impress at the just ended games? Joy Sports' Haruna Mubarak, who was at the event for each of the 7 days, joins us via phone to tell us more. Now, Mubarak, you covered this event pretty extensively. First off, in terms of expectations and achievement, where does Ghana sit? Do you think Team Ghana is perhaps maybe happy with the 2 medals, or is it a case of they could have done better?
I'm liking the cloud in the area, and I'm I beginning really the training.
I quite understand the fact that people want Ghana to really dominate this tournament. Not probably win so many medals like the South Africans, like the Egyptians, but they should be able to stake a claim for themselves. Two as compared to the likes of South Africa, the likes of Egypt, who have won over 80 medals in all events, is absolutely appalling from that point of view. But the swimming people are actually content with the 2 medals. This is the reason why. They believe Ghana is not there yet. They believe Ghana is a very young country as far as swimming is concerned. They believe that South Africa and Egypt have started a project for a long time, and they are now reaping the benefits. Ghana has just started theirs, and so it will take time for it to flourish. Now, Abeku Jackson, he is the man that can win Ghana a medal at an African championship. The rest are not really competent enough yet. They are talented, don't get me wrong, but to be competent enough to win medal at an African championship, they are not there yet. 18 swimmers represented Ghana, and it was only Abeku Jackson that won Ghana the 2 medals.
But is that a worry, though, to go with 18 and just one getting close to a gold medal and that same person winning 2 medals?
Okay. Oroku, I can tell you that I've spoken to some of the officials of the association, and they believe that for the first time, Ghana has been able to secure a medal at an African championship. For the first time since the tournament was done. This is the 14th edition. So since its inception, Ghana has never won a major medal at that particular tournament. So they believe winning 2 is a step in the right direction, and that the country will improve as years do come by. Now, the parents, though, some of them are not really happy because they believe their swimmers, if they had had good organization, good preparation, good teamwork, a bit of good coaching, the swimmers would have done extremely well. So for me, there's a bit of worry from the parental point of view. But for the officials, they believe that to be able to secure a medal for the first time, it is something that should be praised.
Well, let's look beyond the performance of Ghana in the pool and look at outside the pool, Ghana had the opportunity of hosting such a huge event and swimming fraternity. How would you rate, the organization, and how well did Ghana do in terms of hosting this event?
The organization is quite okay, not extremely good. There are few things here and there that could have been done better, but it wasn't. But I would say it was okay in terms of the structure, because, this tournament hosted 42 countries. That is unprecedented in the history of swimming in the world. 40 in Africa. So 42 countries is something unprecedented. So for them, and this is the first time the juniors competition has been combined with the seniors competition as well. This is the first time this is happening. So, of course, and in this COVID time, that has had a devastating effect everywhere in the world. It is expected that there are 2 or 3 things that needed to be rectified. But aside that, I think organization, structure-wise, hotel, accommodation, food, everything has been okay. Not extremely well, but okay. And even for the Swimming Association, this is the first time they are organizing such kind of event. The Canal Zone 2, it wasn't, some of the members were there, some were not there. So to get the full complement of the team that was around at the Canal Zone 2 tournament is different from this one. So the level of energy, the level of ideas will obviously be different. Some of them are experiencing their first participation in a tournament as far as organization is concerned. So I think there are a few things that could have been done better. But from a broader viewpoint, I would give them a 60 over 100.
All right, thank you very much, Haruna Mubarak, and he covered the 14th edition of the Ghana Swimming African Championship, which took place here in Ghana at the Bukom International Pool. Ghana finished with just 2 medals, and according to Mubarak, that's a step in the right direction. According, speaking from the point of view of the technical team, especially because those were the first medals for Team Ghana in the history of the Ghana Swimming competition. Remember, next year, the 15th edition of the Swimming African Championship would be in Tunisia, and we'll continue with our coverage of that. My name is Ore Kwampof, and that's how we wrap up the sport here.
As I wrap up the polls this afternoon, my name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching. For more news, log on to My Joy Online. You'll get updates of all the developing stories. Up next is Let's Talk Showbiz to enjoy the rest of our programs.
Hello, I'm Dori Nando. You can catch up with all the fun on the Cosmopolitan Mix and on all our shows via podcast. Just go to My Joy Online podcast and search for your favorite show and relive those moments all over again. Only on Joy 99.7 FM, radio for discerning listeners.
Super Hits Radio, Joy 99.7.
It's a beautiful Monday and you're welcome to Let's Talk Showbiz here on the JoyNews channel. My name is Doreen Avio, and in fact today there's so much to talk about. I can tell you that some of our entertainers are talking about LGBTQ, and also I'm sure we've all followed the issue of Sam Adjetefio. We all know him as TT of taxi driver fame after his issues came up, the fact that he's owing ECG here and there. Well, I have Master Richard, who, he started the movie industry with, or doing 1 or 2 things with, obviously has something to say about him as well. My name is Doreen Avio and the show is Let's Talk Showbiz. If you're just joining me, this is Let's Talk Showbiz and I'm Doreen Avio. And well, Master Richard, we all know him, has something to say about TT of taxi driver fame. Now, if you recall, for some time now, we recently heard that he had issues with rent. Vice President, among other people, came to his aid. Then later we heard that he was owing, of course, ECG. And now Master Richard, who happens to be a colleague actor, says that it looks like a lot of our veteran actors are going through the same thing. And well, he has more to talk about this.
I think that many of us are going through that, but not speaking about it, because we are living in an industry that has no policies to guarantee even the pensions of some of the stakeholders. And, you know, the industry is not well catered for in terms of policy to benefit the stakeholders and players around it. So eventually people will get into these situations. His is not an isolation. There are a lot of other colleague actors, senior actors who are going through the same situation. So I wouldn't want to...
Are you going through such a situation?
Oh, I wouldn't say so, but the system is in a way that most people would have to go through that situation. I don't only work as an actor. I direct, I produce, and I do many other things apart from acting. But if you talk about how much acting can earn one a living in this country, it's nothing to write home about. So I think that is not an isolation, and we should have a holistic look at the situation and not pin it down to just TT's situation. We should look at TV stations not showing too much foreign programs. That is the first step to eradicate this situation.
Right, so that was Master Richard there talking about TT, and I believe that whatever it is, one way or the other, somewhere, maybe along the line, the art sector will actually put something together so that some of our veteran actors can be able to take care of themselves. Now, I'm sure we've all heard about LGBTQ, the whole issue surrounding them, whether to allow them to operate or not. Well, Master Richard and our own Shatta Wale have waded into the conversation, and well, they have different opinions. Let's hear from Master Richard and Shatta Wale.
My stand is that we should learn from animals. If we have become too wise as human beings, we should go back and learn from animals, because I'm trying to find out whether female chicken will make love together or the male ones will make love together, the goats and the cow, the sheep. Once I find out that I'm able to do that, then I'll believe that is God's own program. But once they are not doing that, then I'm beginning to believe that human beings are becoming too wise.
So what then would you say to people who come up with the argument that this is a clear case of human rights? People should be allowed to do whatever they want to do with yourselves. And
exits as entries? I don't get that. You know, I don't see the rights there is in life to use exits as entries. So I think that we should learn about that. I don't think that we should be too wise and too free to start using some of the entries as exits and exits as entries.
Well, I always have one thing to say. It's a free world, and I want all of us to be free. I don't really want to get my mind on...
Shasta, don't play politics with me. What's your stance?
It's a free world. It's a free world, that's what I say.
We should allow them.
We should allow everybody to be free in this world, because I believe people don't understand me, but I want to feel free. And it's making me get emotional pains, mental pains, physical pains. I really feel it's a free world, so we should just allow everything to be the way it is. We can't change anything. Yeah, I have most lesbians, most gays who are my fans, and I can't say because they are gays and lesbians, I have to, brush them off. I believe they love me because of my music. They don't love me because I'm gay. They don't love me because I'm a lesbian. So it's a free world. I think we should allow everything to move the way it is.
Right, so that was Master Richard, Mickey Osebeko, and Shatta Wale, of course, talking about LGBTQ. Now, away from that, Rudy Kwachi happens to be a media personality and also an entrepreneur. And, well, he's been saying some things which I believe that a few of us will kind of agree with him. He believes that Ghanaian talents know how to do the work, but they do not know the business aspect of it. Not just to end it all, he also believes that after the year of return, maybe Ghana should have released a movie or document something so that maybe the young ones that are now being born, maybe in some years to come, they will also look back and know that at a point Ghana was on the world map. Everybody came to Ghana. A lot of things or activities happened. He was on Showbiz A to Z with Jay Foley. So now, well, let's hear from Rudy Kwachi.
We also need to be able to spot when our opportunity, when we have openings, to be able to actually go in. As I said something in 2019, right? And with how Year of Return climaxed, it wasn't Beyonce that needed to release that musical called Black is Whatever. Anybody needed to release content, Ghana should have released a movie. That was a perfect year to actually showcase. We had the momentum, we had an opening, we were the synergy of the globe. At that time, we should have literally just, even if we just took what people took on their phones and wrote a story and did a voiceover over it, it would probably have gone that it would have gone super viral at that time. These are some of the ways we miss out on gaining further discovery and entrenching our brand. And the show's name is Show Business, right?
Yes.
Showbiz A to Z. The industry's popular moniker is again show and business. We do well with the show and do terribly with the business. What is missing across board is not approaching everything we do with a creative enterprise as a business. If you look closely, those who approach it with business, far gone. Far gone. Far gone.
I'm tempted to ask like.
Plenty. And I can name from musicians to artists to writers to whatnot. Like, I mean, look, Mahama's foray into the creative arts.
You mean Ibrahim Muhammad?
Ibrahim Muhammad.
Contemporary arts.
Yes, contemporary arts. Like, it is possible for the guy that used to do signage at your corner to actually done that. But the thing is Muhammad saw the steps. There's an international curator with a gallery in Accra and a gallery in Chicago. He's been doing back and forth. And one of my ex-colleagues actually exhibits there. And this guy used to just do graphics for us. And he was thinking he's a graphics guy. I said, no, you are not. You are never a graphics guy. I've seen you draw before, right? And take it serious. Today, he's selling $50,000 pieces. Yeah. $50,000 pieces. Like, shout out to Boku Bolabi. It's, my point is, there's a business structure to this, and then there's a show structure. Internationally, it's organized as a business. Have you ever, guys, you want to sign to Universal, Sony, any of the labels, do you know they publish their financial records? Check how much billions the CEOs are supposed to bring in. And they don't do that thinking is all show. There's an ecosystem of business. Where we fail is we never approach this thing as a business.
All right, so that will be it for Let's Talk Showbiz today's edition. A very big thank you to you, Nat and Ike, and production, of course, and also David and Nicholas. My name is Doreen Avio. Remember to log on to the Joy Entertainment Facebook and social media pages. Get all the updates in your world of showbiz. And also go on myjoyonline.com, the entertainment page, for more of our stories. On Twitter and Facebook is Doreen Avio, and on Instagram it's Doreen_Avio. Have a great evening.